The screen is dark, except for faint glowing lights in the misty forest. The human explorer steps carefully, his boots crunching on the alien soil. Suddenly, small, glowing-eyed children appear, surrounding him silently. One whispers, trembling, "Help our children, human. Feed them, and you will receive a gift." But only when darkness falls. The wind howls, shadows shift unnaturally, and the human feels eyes watching him from the trees. He reaches for his weapon, but the children shake their heads, frightened. A distant sound grows louder, like metal scraping on stone. The children cling to him, their whispers urgent, "Please, do not leave. Night is coming." The camera pans to the horizon, the sun sinking fast, and shadows stretching unnaturally across the forest. Something moves in the darkness. Waiting, the screen cuts to black dot asterisk. What is this gift? And what waits in the shadows when night falls? Watch and discover. Asterisk. The human explorer stepped carefully on the strange planet, his boots sinking slightly into soft, glowing moss. The air smelled sweet, almost like flowers mixed with fresh rain. He had traveled far to find new worlds, but nothing had prepared him for this place. Mist curled around tall, twisted trees, and faint lights shimmered in the distance. As he moved forward, he noticed movement. Small figures emerged from the fog. At first, he thought they were shadows, but as they came closer, he saw their glowing eyes and tiny hands reaching out. Alien children stood quietly, staring at him. One of the children, a little girl with silver hair and eyes that shone like stars, stepped forward. She held her hands together and spoke softly. "Please help our children, human. Feed them, and we will give you a gift, a reward." But only when night falls, the human froze. He had never heard a voice like this. It was gentle, almost musical, yet filled with urgency. He looked at the children, their small faces lit by the soft glow from the moss. Something about them felt fragile, innocent, yet strange. "Who are you?" he asked quietly. The little girl blinked. "We are the children of the forest. We have waited a long time for someone like you." Her voice trembled as she whispered the words. The human hesitated. He wanted to trust them, but his mind warned him to be careful. This planet was unknown, full of surprises. Still, the children's eyes drew him in. There was sadness there, and something else. Hope. He knelt down slowly, keeping his hands open. "All right, I will help. But tell me, what is this gift you speak of?" The girl's lips curled into a faint smile. "You will see, but only after the sun goes down. Darkness must come first." She turned slightly, signaling to the other children. They began walking silently through the glowing moss, leading the human deeper into the forest. The forest seemed alive. Leaves rustled even though no wind blew. Strange shapes moved in the distance, barely visible in the fading light. The human's heart beat faster, not from fear, but from curiosity. Every step he took felt like a step into a dream or a story he had never imagined. Suddenly, a soft sound reached his ears, a gentle humming, almost like singing, but carried by the wind. The children paused and looked around nervously. The silver-haired girl whispered again, "We are watched, but do not worry. They will not come close while you are with us." The human nodded, though he didn't fully understand. He noticed tiny footprints glowing faintly on the ground. The children stepped into them, and the light seemed to respond to their touch, leading the way forward. Hours or maybe minutes passed, though the human couldn't tell. The mist thickened, and the sun slowly disappeared behind the twisted trees. Shadows grew longer, and the forest seemed to hold its breath. Finally, the children stopped near a small clearing. In the middle, glowing flowers bent gently, as if bowing to the night. The little girl turned to him and whispered, "Now it begins." The human watched as the children stepped forward together. Their glowing eyes shone brighter, and a soft light rose from their hands. Slowly, shapes began to appear in the shadows, shapes that had been hidden in the forest all along. The human gasped silently. Strange, delicate figures floated above the ground. They were like nothing he had ever seen, soft and luminous, their forms shifting like liquid light. The children reached out, and the shapes seemed to respond, moving closer in harmony with them. "It is beautiful," he breathed. The little girl nodded, her eyes wide. "This is the gift, but it is only the beginning. When darkness comes fully, You will see more. The reward is not just for you. It is for all who care for us." The wind picked up, brushing through the trees with a soft whistle. The human looked around, realizing the forest was alive in a way he had never imagined. Every leaf, every shadow, every glowing footprint seemed to be part of a larger story, one he was only beginning to understand. The sun dipped below the horizon completely. Darkness embraced the forest, but the glowing children and floating shapes kept shining, illuminating the clearing like stars in a night sky. The human felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had not expected to feel connected to these alien children, yet he did. Their trust, their hope, their quiet plea had reached something deep inside him. Suddenly, a soft sound like a chime echoed through the clearing. The little girl held his hand gently and whispered, "Wait, the true reward will appear soon. Watch closely, human. Night is not just the end of the day. It is the beginning of something extraordinary." The human nodded, eyes wide with wonder. He crouched beside the children, ready to see whatever came next. And in that moment, he realized that this night would change him forever. Shadows shifted, lights danced, and the gift was about to be revealed. The darkness had fully settled over the forest, but the human felt no fear. The glowing children moved confidently ahead, their small hands stretched toward the floating lights. Each step they took made the forest feel alive, as if the trees themselves were leaning in to watch. The human followed carefully, his eyes adjusting to the gentle glow around him. The air was cooler now, carrying a faint scent of sweetness mixed with something he could not name. Every sound, the whisper of leaves, the soft hum of the children's voices, the faint crackle of light made him aware that he was not just in a forest, but in a world that held secrets he had never imagined. One of the children, a boy whose eyes shone like green fireflies, turned and whispered, "Do you see them?" The human shook his head. "See who?" "They watch us from the shadows," the boy replied softly. "They are not like us, but they are curious." The human looked around, trying to pierce the darkness. Shapes moved in the distance, smooth and silent. They seemed to float, shifting between the trees. He could not tell if they were animals, spirits, or something else entirely. Every time he blinked, they were closer, yet they never made a sound. The silver-haired girl took his hand. "Do not be afraid. They will not harm you if you stay with us. But you must watch carefully. The gift. It is ready to appear soon." A soft glow emerged from the ground. Tiny, luminous plants had bloomed in patterns, forming a path that twisted deeper into the forest. The human knelt to examine them. They pulsed softly, almost like they had a heartbeat. He touched one carefully, and a gentle warmth ran through his fingers. The children giggled softly, as if the plants recognized him. "This way," the girl whispered, and led him forward. As they moved, the forest seemed to shift. Shadows stretched and bent, creating shapes that danced at the edge of his vision. The floating lights above grew brighter, forming a canopy of soft illumination. It was beautiful, almost like walking through a dream made of stars. Then, from somewhere deep within the forest, a sound began. It was not loud, but it carried across the clearing a soft chime, almost like singing glass. The children stopped and listened. The human could feel the vibrations through the ground. His heart raced, not with fear, but with awe. The silver-haired girl stepped forward. "It is the gift," she said softly. "It calls to those who care for us. Watch closely. You will see more soon." The floating lights shifted, forming a circle around the children. Their glow intensified, bathing the human in soft golden light. Then, slowly, shapes began to emerge from the shadows. They were unlike anything he had ever seen, delicate forms of shimmering energy, floating gently above the ground. They moved in harmony with the children, responding to their gestures and soft words. The human reached out a hand, but the silver-haired girl shook her head gently. "Not yet," she whispered. "The night is only beginning. The true reward will appear when the darkness is deepest." He watched, fascinated. The shapes twisted and turned, forming patterns that seemed alive. They were not creatures, not objects, but something in between, a living display of light and energy. And yet, there was a sense of purpose in their movement, as if they were waiting for him to understand. The boy with green eyes stepped forward. "The gift is not just for you," he said. "It is for everyone who protects us, Who cares for us? That is why it appears only in the night. Daylight cannot hold it. Only the darkness can reveal its true power. The human nodded slowly, realizing that this world was unlike anything he had ever known. He had traveled through countless planets, but never had he felt this connection to the children, to the forest, to something that was alive yet invisible. The wind stirred again, carrying a faint melody through the trees. The glowing children moved in unison, their hands raised slightly, guiding the shapes closer. The human could see now that each child had a role. The boy with green eyes created pathways of light. The girl with silver hair guided the energy with her gestures, and the others added subtle pulses of glow. Together, they formed a pattern that seemed to tell a story he could not yet understand. Then, the floating lights suddenly surged. They rose higher, forming a dome of shimmering brilliance over the children. The human gasped. It was as if the night itself had bent down to touch them. The children stood still, smiling softly, their eyes filled with hope and trust. "It is almost ready," the girl whispered. "Watch, and you will see something no human has ever seen." The human crouched beside them. His breath caught in his throat. The night was alive. The glowing forms swirled faster, sending ripples of light through the forest. The path they had followed shimmered, revealing patterns in the moss that had been hidden before. And then, just as he thought he could take no more wonder, a new glow appeared brighter than all the others. It pulsed like a heartbeat, steady and strong, coming from the center of the clearing. The children stepped toward it, their hands reaching out, and the human understood this was the moment the silver-haired girl had promised. The true reward was about to appear. The human stayed close to the children as the glowing energy in the clearing swirled higher, casting dancing shadows across the forest floor. Each pulse of light seemed to breathe, moving with a rhythm that was both gentle and powerful. He could feel it in his chest, a strange warmth that made him shiver with awe. The silver-haired girl looked up at him, her eyes sparkling. "Do you see it? The reward. It is almost here, but you must stay patient. Night holds its secrets carefully." The human nodded, fascinated. He had never experienced anything like this before. He watched as the floating lights bent and twisted, forming patterns that seemed to tell a story. It was a story he could not yet understand, yet it felt familiar somehow, like an echo from a distant memory. The boy with green eyes pointed toward the forest. "Look closely. There's more than just what you see here." The human squinted into the darkness beyond the clearing. At first, he saw nothing, but then faint outlines began to appear, structures buried in the moss and mist. They were old, ancient, and made of a material that shimmered like crystal under the glow of the children. "What is that?" he whispered. "The ruins," the silver-haired girl replied. "They were here long before anyone walked this forest. They hold the knowledge of our ancestors. Tonight, they awaken because you are here. You are part of this now." The human stepped forward cautiously. Each footfall made the moss glow under his boots. As he approached the ruins, he could see intricate patterns carved into the walls, lines that pulsed faintly, with the same energy as the children. It was as if the ruins recognized him, inviting him to learn their secrets. A soft humming sound came from the center of the ruins. The children gathered around it, forming a small circle. The human watched as their hands moved in the air, drawing shapes in the glowing energy. The patterns in the ruins began to shift and respond. Light flowed along the walls, highlighting symbols and shapes that had been hidden for centuries. The silver-haired girl whispered, "This is how we communicate with the world of energy. The gift will not just appear. It must be called forth, and you are helping it awaken." The human felt a mix of wonder and nervousness. He had always explored planets, seen strange creatures and landscapes, but this was different. He was not just observing. He was part of something alive, something magical. The boy with green eyes added, "The gift is patient. It watches, it waits, but it will show itself to those who are kind and brave. You are both." The human looked at the children and smiled softly. "I want to help," he said. "Tell me what to do." The silver-haired girl reached out her hand. "Feel the energy round you. Let it flow through your mind, through your heart. The reward will recognize your intentions." The human closed his eyes and focused. A gentle warmth filled him, spreading from his chest to his fingertips. He could feel the rhythm of the glowing forms, the pulse of the moss beneath his feet, the whisper of the wind through the ancient trees. Everything was connected. Everything was alive. Suddenly, the energy surged. A brilliant light shot upward from the center of the ruins, brighter than anything he had ever seen. The floating shapes twisted and danced, forming a vortex of glowing patterns. The human opened his eyes and gasped. The children laughed softly, their voices like music. The energy responded, shaping into forms that resembled creatures from legends he had heard long ago. Creatures of light, elegant and serene, moving gracefully above the ground. This is the first part of the reward, the silver-haired girl said. It is not complete yet. The night has many hours, and the gift will continue to unfold. You must stay awake and watch. The forest will show you more if you are patient. The human watched, feeling a mix of amazement and humility. He had never felt so small, yet so important at the same time. The gift was teaching him patience, care, and understanding, lessons that no planet, no technology, and no knowledge could give. The boy with green eyes whispered, "You are ready for the next step, but it will require trust. The ruins will respond only if you are true to the children and to yourself." The human took a deep breath. "I trust you," he said. "I will stay here and see this through." The glowing forms moved closer to him, surrounding him with warmth. He could feel the energy speaking in ways he could not describe, filling him with a sense of purpose and wonder. The night deepened, shadows and lights blending together in a beautiful symphony of energy and life. Then, from the very center of the vortex, a new shape began to emerge. It was brighter, more vibrant than the others. The human felt it call to him, not with words, but with a feeling deep in his chest. The children stepped aside, smiling softly, their eyes full of trust and hope. The human knew that this was the moment he had been waiting for. The true gift, the one the children had promised, was about to reveal itself. And as the forest held its breath, the human took another step forward, ready to embrace the wonder of the night. The forest had fallen completely into darkness, yet the human felt a strange calm. The glowing children moved gracefully ahead, guiding him toward a shimmering light that rose like a beacon in the distance. The air felt charged, as if every leaf, every blade of moss, and every floating particle of light was holding its breath in anticipation. The silver-haired girl turned toward him, her eyes bright. "This is it," she whispered. "The gift. The true reward is about to appear, but you must keep your heart open and your mind still. Only then will it show itself fully." The human nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and awe. He had followed the children through glowing forests, mysterious ruins, and strange floating lights, but nothing prepared him for what was ahead. Each step he took made the light pulse slightly, almost like it was greeting him. As they reached the center of the clearing, the glowing shapes that had been hovering around the children began to move together, forming patterns that resembled a vast, luminous web. The energy swirled gently, responding to the children's gestures and soft whispers. The human watched closely, noticing how the light seemed to recognize him as well, bending and flowing toward his presence. "This is more than just a gift," the boy with green eyes said softly. "It is knowledge, energy, life itself. It shows us what the universe can be and what we can become if we work together." The human crouched down, studying the glowing web. He reached out a hand carefully, and a soft warmth spread through his fingertips, climbing up his arm and filling his chest with a soothing glow. The children smiled, as if pleased that he could feel it. Suddenly, a new energy began to rise from the center of the web. It was brighter, more vibrant than anything he had seen so far. It pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat, and the forest seemed to lean closer to watch. Tiny lights floated around the pulse, forming shapes that reminded him of constellations he had seen from Earth. The silver-haired girl stepped forward. "This is the true reward," she said. "It is alive, and it responds to those who care for us. But it will only reveal its full power if you help guide it, if you trust it completely." The human took a deep breath and focused. He let the warmth of the light flow through him, closing his eyes and opening his mind to the energy surrounding him. Slowly, the luminous web responded, twisting and forming intricate shapes that seemed to tell a story of the universe itself. Stars, being born, planets forming and life spreading across worlds. The boy with green eyes whispered, "See how it moves with you. The gift is teaching you. It shows patience, care, and understanding. That is why it only appears at night. The darkness is not empty, it holds the power to reveal truth." The human opened his eyes. The glowing web had transformed into a dome of light above the clearing, casting soft shadows on the mossy ground. Within the dome, patterns shifted constantly, forming images that seemed almost alive. He could see shapes of creatures he had never known, landscapes of alien beauty, and symbols that hummed with meaning he could not yet understand. This is amazing," he whispered. "It is more than I imagined." The silver-haired girl nodded. "It is more than any one being can hold. That is why it must be shared. The children, the forest, even you. All of us together can understand it. That is the lesson of the gift: unity, trust, and care for life itself." The human felt tears rise in his eyes, not from sadness, but from the sheer wonder of what he was experiencing. He had traveled across galaxies seeking discovery, yet here, in this quiet forest, he felt he had found something far greater than any planet or technology. A connection with life itself. The energy swirled faster now, forming shapes that floated just above the children's heads. The children laughed softly, their voices mingling with the hum of the forest. "Watch carefully," the girl whispered. "The next part is coming. It will be even brighter, even more alive." A gentle vibration ran through the clearing, and the human felt it in his chest. The energy pulsed stronger, and the glowing web began to lift off the ground, spinning slowly like a galaxy forming in miniature. He could feel the warmth, the rhythm, and the intelligence of the light, guiding him to understand its secrets. The boy with green eyes stepped forward. "The gift is not just for us. It is for those who help, who care, who protect life. It chooses those who are willing to see and to act with kindness. That is why it has chosen you." The human nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. He watched as the dome of energy grew, pulsating and shifting, filling the forest with colors and shapes more beautiful than he could describe. He realized that the gift was not something he could take, it was something he had to experience, something that would change him from the inside out. And as the night deepened, the glowing children surrounded him, their eyes shining brighter than ever. The web of light spun above them, alive and vibrant, revealing secrets and stories of the universe. The human knew that this was just the beginning, that the reward held even greater wonders yet to come. The air shimmered, the moss glowed, and the forest seemed to sigh in satisfaction. The human smiled, feeling a quiet joy and anticipation. He was ready for the next part of the gift, the next lesson the night had prepared for him. The human stood in the center of the glowing clearing, surrounded by the children and the swirling energy of the gift. The forest around them was alive with light, every leaf and blade of moss shimmering softly under the luminous dome above. He had never seen anything like it, and yet a quiet voice inside told him this was only the beginning. The silver-haired girl stepped closer, her small hand brushing lightly against his. "The gift is patient," she whispered. "It watches those who are kind and true. But patience alone is not enough. You must help it grow, guide it, and trust it completely." The human nodded, focusing on the energy swirling around him. It felt alive, almost like it had a mind of its own. He reached out carefully, letting his hands move in rhythm with the patterns of light. The children mirrored his movements, their glowing forms pulsing softly as the energy responded. Suddenly, the light shifted, forming pathways that led deeper into the forest. The human realized that the gift was guiding them somewhere. "Where are we going?" he asked. "To the heart of the forest," the silver-haired girl replied. "There is more for you to see. The gift is not complete yet. It has chosen to show you its secrets step by step." The group moved slowly, the glowing paths illuminating their way. As they walked, the human noticed the forest changing around them. Trees bent slightly, forming archways, and flowers glowed brighter as they passed. The air seemed to hum with energy, carrying soft melodies that wrapped around his mind like a gentle song. The boy with green eyes spoke softly. "The gift is learning you, just as you are learning it. That is why it moves and shifts. It wants to connect with your heart, your thoughts, your care for others." The human felt a wave of warmth and understanding. He realized that this gift was not just about light or energy, it was about connection. It wanted to teach, to share, and to bond with those who were willing to listen. As they reached a small clearing, the energy pulsed and formed a new pattern. In the center, a small, glowing sphere hovered above the ground. Its light was soft but vibrant, like a tiny sun captured in a delicate crystal. The children gathered around it, their hands raised gently, guiding it. "This is the next part of the gift," the girl said. "It holds knowledge, possibilities, and power that can help us protect our world. But it can only be understood through patience and care." The human knelt beside the sphere, letting the warm energy wash over his hands. He felt memories and visions entering his mind, not his own memories, but feelings and images of the forest, of the children, of the planet itself. He could feel its story, its history, and its hopes. The boy with green eyes whispered, "See how it trusts you. You are part of this now." The gift chooses those who show kindness, who help without expecting anything in return. That is why it is showing itself to you. The human smiled softly. "I understand. I will help however I can." As he focused, the sphere began to expand slowly, sending tendrils of light into the air, weaving intricate patterns that mirrored the stars above. The children's laughter mingled with the hum of energy, creating a melody that filled the forest. Every pulse of light felt like a heartbeat, connecting them all. Suddenly, the light shot upward, forming a column that reached the very treetops. The human felt it vibrate through his chest, a gentle but powerful rhythm that filled him with awe. He realized the gift was responding not only to him, but to the children, to their hope, and to the care they had for their world. The silver-haired girl whispered, "The gift shows more to those who are brave enough to stay. It is patient, but it waits for trust. You have shown it, and now it will reveal even more." The human watched as shapes began to form within the column of light, floating landscapes, creatures of delicate beauty, and patterns that seemed to tell the story of life across worlds. He could see how every choice, every act of care, had shaped the forest and the children. He understood, in a way he had never known before, that this gift was alive because of them all. Then the light shifted again. A path appeared in the air, leading to a part of the forest he had not seen before. The children stepped forward, their eyes shining brighter. "The gift wants to show you its final lesson for tonight," the girl said. "Follow us carefully and keep your heart open. Only then will you understand the full wonder of it." The human took a deep breath and followed the children, his mind racing with awe and anticipation. The night had grown deeper, the forest quieter, yet the energy of the gift pulsed around him like a living heartbeat. He knew that what awaited them would change him forever, and he felt a quiet determination to embrace it fully. The glowing paths stretched ahead, twisting and turning like a river of light, leading them toward a secret part of the forest. The human felt a thrill of wonder. This night was not over. The gift had more to show, more to teach, and he was ready to discover every secret it held. Asterisk. The human followed the children through the winding path of glowing moss and floating lights. The forest seemed quieter now, as if holding its breath, waiting for the final moment. The night was deep and full of shimmering shadows, yet every step they took was guided by a soft glow that illuminated the way forward. The silver-haired girl glanced at him, her eyes filled with trust. "This is it," she whispered. "The gift has chosen to show its final secret tonight, but you must keep your heart open. Only then will it reveal its full wonder." The human nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and awe. He had seen the energy, the floating lights, the ancient ruins, and the glowing web of patterns. But he knew this was the moment he had been waiting for. The gift, the true reward, was about to reveal itself. They arrived at a clearing unlike any other. The ground shimmered with soft light, and a gentle hum vibrated through the air. In the center, a vast pool of liquid light reflected the stars above. Tendrils of energy rose from its surface, forming intricate shapes that floated like delicate sculptures in the night. The human's breath caught in his throat. The children stepped forward, their hands raised, guiding the energy. The boy with green eyes whispered, "The gift is alive. It responds to care, to patience, to trust, and now it will share itself fully with you." The human knelt at the edge of the glowing pool. As he reached out, the light flowed toward him like a gentle wave, wrapping around his fingers. His arms, his chest. It was warm, comforting, and filled with a soft melody that seemed to speak directly to his heart. The silver-haired girl smiled. See how it trusts you, how it shares itself. You are part of this now. The gift is not just for us. It is for all who care for life. The human felt visions unfold in his mind, images of planets he had never seen, creatures of unimaginable beauty, forests filled with glowing energy, and oceans shimmering under alien suns. Each vision seemed connected, forming a story of life, hope, and unity. He understood that the gift was teaching him, not just showing him wonders, but helping him feel the heartbeat of the universe itself. The pool of light began to rise, forming a column that stretched toward the treetops. The energy spun gently, creating shapes that resembled stars, constellations, and even the children themselves, their glowing forms mirrored in the patterns. The human could feel the connection, the children, the forest, the gift, and himself all intertwined in a rhythm of life and light. The boy with green eyes spoke softly. The gift shows its true form to those who have patience, who care for others, and who trust in the unknown. You have proven yourself worthy, human. The human smiled, feeling a warmth deep in his heart. He had come to this planet seeking discovery, but he had found something far greater: connection, trust, and the joy of sharing something extraordinary with those who could not speak in his language. The silver-haired girl took his hand and guided him closer to the center of the pool. Now you will see the final part, she whispered. The liquid light swirled faster, forming intricate shapes that shimmered like galaxies. Then, slowly, the light condensed into a radiant sphere, hovering just above the water. Its glow was soft yet powerful, filling the entire clearing with warmth and color. This is the heart of the gift, she said. It holds knowledge, energy, and life, but it is not yours to take. It is yours to understand, to protect, and to share. The human reached out, letting the sphere's light envelop him. The sensation was unlike anything he had felt before: pure joy, wonder, and a sense of belonging. He felt the energy flow through him, connecting his heartbeat with the rhythm of the children, the forest, and the night sky. For a long moment, he simply stood there, immersed in the glow, feeling the gift reveal itself in every pulse of light, every gentle wave of energy. He realized that the reward was not something material, not a treasure to hold, but a feeling, a connection that transcended language, planets, and species. The silver-haired girl whispered, "The night has shared its secret. The gift will continue to grow, just as you will. Remember this feeling, human. It will guide you, protect you, and help you see what others cannot." The human nodded, tears of awe in his eyes. He looked at the children, their glowing eyes reflecting the radiant sphere, and felt a deep sense of gratitude. He had helped them, and in return, he had received something far greater than anything he had imagined. As the first hints of dawn crept over the horizon, the pool of light slowly descended, returning to the forest floor. The energy dimmed gently, leaving a soft glow that would remain long after the night ended. The children smiled, their hands brushing the glowing moss, as if saying goodbye to the magic that had filled the night. The human took a deep breath and looked around, feeling changed. The forest was quiet, but alive in a way he had never known. He had come seeking discovery, but he had found wonder, connection, and the gift of understanding, something truly extraordinary. And as he walked with the children back through the glowing paths toward the edge of the forest, he knew that this night, this experience, would stay with him forever. The gift had chosen him not for what he could take, but for what he could give, and in that, he had found the true meaning of the reward.